Hello and welcome to Bastionland Broadcasting, where today we're doing something very different. We're going to be trying a game that I made as a bit of an experiment. I'll talk about it a bit more as we go on, but it is a game called Space and Solitude, and there's an entire blog post about it somewhere. If you search for Bastionland Space and Solitude, you'll find it. But to be honest, I've never really played solo games. I've not played any of these big journal games like Thousand Year Vampire that are getting loads of praise. I've always looked at them with a bit of interest but never got around to it. The inspiration for Space and Solitude was to try and capture the feeling of what it would be like to be alone in deep space, and specifically the time element and the waiting element. So what it ended up being was an experiment to see whether I could make boredom into a game, and whether I could make busy work into a game. It's probably a disaster, but it was an interesting experiment to do, and people wanted to see an actual play. I've tried it out a little bit myself, but I've never really done like a proper actual play of it, so we're going to do that today. So I'm going to swing my camera down, because today I am Ben Milton. I'm going to be, if I can get the angle correct. There we go. Let's get our angles right. Had this all worked out before the stream, and then of course I moved it. There we go. It's just like you're watching the Questing Beast channel, isn't it? Maybe a little bit higher. So the game. The experiment was, like I said, can you gamify boredom? Let's see if you can. So the game itself is this. So at the moment this exists as a PDF. It's on, I think it's on, can't remember if I put it on itch.io. It's certainly available at bastionland.com if you go to that and search for Space and Solitude. It's a PDF. You can print it out. I strongly encourage printing. Let's get this white cable out of the way. It's going to drive me mad. I strongly encourage printing this out and having it in front of you, because it is kind of a very tactile game, which is why we're not using dice rollers, we're not using Tabletop Simulator, using actual dice. And I know it's quite small down there. You can't like make out all of the individual values on the dice, but it's going to give you an idea. And if need be, I can switch over to the zoomed in version if I need to like highlight something in particular that I'm doing. So yeah, this should be interesting. So, the concept. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to go over the entire concept because I spoke about it in the blog post. The main thing you need to know is that the inspiration came from realizing that, well, I'm not the first to realize this, but hearing people talk about the fact that we never really get a chance to get bored anymore. And it's like a proper old person complaint, saying like, oh, back in my day, we used to have to go and sit on the train for 6 hours to get to work, and all you could do was do the crossword in the newspaper, and you had to look out the window. And back in them days, everybody knew how to identify all these birds by their bird calls. And yeah, okay, so we have a lot more entertainment that we can just pull out of our pocket these days. But I'm not saying I want to get rid of that, but I wanted to explore the idea that it's a bit of a novelty to be stuck somewhere without your phone. It actually came about because I broke my phone. Well, my phone was on the verge of exploding. The battery was swelling, and I was at a point where I had to very quickly remove my phone from my house. And what I had to do was I basically was waiting a week for my new phone to arrive. So I had no phone, which, yeah, first world problem. But I actually really quite enjoyed it because I still had access to like my emails and stuff. So I just told people, look, if you need me, email me, or you've got my partner's number, just give her a ring if it's like an emergency. And I wanted to explore that. And around the same time, I was also dipping back into Elite Dangerous, thinking about that experience of like deep space exploration and how lonely it could be and how boring it could be. And I thought, I was messing around with sort of solitaire things like print and play, solo games as well. And this is where I ended up. So I'm going to go into it. Bear in mind, it's been a few months since I wrote this and I've not really touched it since then. So I'm quite rusty on this, which I think is quite good because it means that I'm going into this with not quite fresh eyes, but certainly I'm not going into this knowing like every nook and cranny of this game. Japan Dave says, I've heard you say partner a few times. No, I mean my girlfriend, but I say partner because when I say girlfriend, it makes it sound like I'm a teenager, and we've been together like 10 years. So partner is better, I think. But every time I say it, I do wonder if people think I'm talking about business partner. But no, she's definitely not my business partner. She's glad to not be my business partner, I'm sure. Okay, so let's get our proper view. So I'm just going to go through this as if it's like the first time I'm reading it. So 32 pages. I fully recommend printing this out because it's a booklet and it's very sparse and very minimalist. I'm not going to explain everything because it kind of speaks for itself. Launch. You are the first of your people to explore deep space. You are alone with your ship. You need a timer. I have. Let's get rid of that. I do have a timer. I would love to use an analog timer. I would normally use a sand timer, but for the purposes of not having too much crap going on at once, I'm going to be using this. And one turn of the timer will be 1 minute. And I'll test it out now to make sure the little beep's working. Timer should run for roughly 1 minute before needing to be turned or reset. We need 9 six-sided dice. I have 3, 3, 9. Some paper for your log. Here we go. This is our log. In advanced notepad. This is my log. Is that going to be big enough for people to read? There we go. And appropriate ambient noise if available. Now, when I've done this before, I've definitely put some like spacey audio in the background. I didn't want to do it tonight just because there's some issues with having that going on in the stream. So for full immersion, put on some. That's our alarm. It does work. It's incredibly loud. That's going to be quite annoying. Let's turn that down. Chrome, you can chill out a bit. Okay, it's quieter. So remove all other distractions is the key. Yeah, sorry about that timer. You know what? Let's test again to make sure it's not going to be. I mean, it's kind of loud. Let's get it right down. There we go. That should be nice and quiet for you. It's still annoyingly loud for me, you'll be pleased to know. So I'm getting the full experience. Remove all other distractions is the key. So this is a game where there's going to be time when you have nothing to do, and I don't want you to just look at your phone. That's the whole point of this game, is to like remove distractions. Now, I am very glad to have you all here, but you are essentially one massive distraction for me. So I thought about doing this without looking at the chat, but instead I'm not going to completely ignore the chat, because I think by its nature this is going to be a little bit of a collaborative thing. That's the whole point of doing it on a stream. But I am going to maybe like go through periods of ignoring you. So please don't be offended that I decide to become isolated for a little while. But yeah, remove all other distractions. So let's work our way through. Time. Your ship allows interstellar travel through time compression. A turn is the amount of time it takes for the timer to fully run out. In our case, that's going to be 1 minute. This represents an hour of real time in space. Sometimes you will feel like you aren't doing anything. When this happens, describe what you're actually doing on the ship. So when you get to that moment when you've got nothing to do, think about what you're actually doing. Try and think that you're on the ship. What are you doing? Modules are your way of interacting with your ship and surroundings. Dice are used in different ways by different modules. When a die is locked, it is set aside and cannot be moved or used elsewhere until it is released. So for these purposes, when a die is locked, I'm going to move it off camera. And when it's on camera, it is released and ready to use. So to start the game, we have all 9 dice here ready to use. And there's a little note here saying mod 00 and 01 to release. So we'll keep that in mind. Goals. Familiarize yourself with the modules at your disposal and then consider an initial goal. Write this down to form the beginning of your log. Now there's a list at the back actually. There are 26 modules, and one of them is empty. They're all just one-word things, and these modules are going to be how we interact with the ship and the universe around us, really, and the dice. The dice are part of it. So I'm not going to go through each one in loads of details. We're just going to quickly have a glance around our ship to see what our modules are, because we're going to need to know about that. Process. Release all locked dice. No other module can be used until processing is complete. Roll all the dice. Set aside the biggest matching set. Reroll all the remaining dice and set aside any dice that match the existing set. Repeat until you have 8 or more matching dice set aside. You can now use these dice as you wish. So there's no skill to that. It's just, you know what, I'm going to do an example of how I would run the process module. So if I had 3 dice left, I won't demonstrate every module, I'll just do this first one. Say I had 3 dice currently that were released and I wanted to get more of them back, and I've got 6 over here that are locked out. When I use this module, I release all my locked dice and I roll all my locked dice. Roll all of my dice. Set aside the biggest set. So I think that's going to be the 5s. Yep, so I set aside the 5s and then reroll all the remaining dice and set aside any 5s. There's a 5, there's a 5 and a 5. And you keep going until you've got 8 or more. Right, come on, we need that 5. We need another 5. There we go. And then all the dice are available. Now that's not exactly like thrilling puzzle gameplay. That is kind of like busy work, but you'll see why that kind of fits the vibe I was going for shortly. So that's how you use the process module, and that's the main way to get your dice back after they've been locked. The other way that you can get your dice back is with the log, module 01. Add to your log. Some ideas include defining a new goal, reporting on a goal achieved or failed, or journaling your own experience in space. So this is our, let's get the log. Anything that we write in here is our log. B-Pluck says that they've been doing process wrong. Yeah, the rules are written kind of like not fantastically clearly. I wanted things to be minimalist, but I'm aware that some of the rules are a little bit worded a little bit funnily. And remember, this is my proof of concept edition, which unfortunately means that I haven't like polished it. It is just to see if it works in general. So whenever you add to your log, release 1 die for each line written or each image drawn. We're not going to be drawing images today. The contents of the log can be used to overrule the output of another module. That's something interesting to bear in mind. Now, we're going to jump through the ones a lot quicker because they're all the extra modules. So, navigate. Roll 2 dice. If you have a visual on your destination, lock the lower die. If your destination is out of sight but still in the system, lock the higher die. Reach your destination in a number of turns equal to the locked die. So, basically, we're rolling to see how long does it take for us to travel somewhere. Jump. Roll 3 dice and lock them. Total them up. And in that many turns, we'll reach a new system. And then after the jump, we'll need to recharge before we can make another jump. So we'll get to that. Scan. That lets us ask like yes or no questions about our surroundings. Probe. We have to send that out and it takes some turns to come back, and then we can ask some really specific yes or no questions. Extraction lets us bring something back from the ship or the planet. And it's gonna this is like, there's a little puzzly element to this. Repair, so we can get something damaged into a working state. So again, you're just rolling, trying to form a straight or a set. Synthesis is a slightly more complicated one. It lets us create something. So we'll come to that if we need it. Broadcast lets us put out a message across the system. Sensation. Remember, this isn't real. Spend 1 turn describing the scene, including sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Spend 1 turn comparing it to the interior of your ship or the space outside. And after that, we can release 2 dice. I'm not going to go too far into the design of these, but I did go a little bit. I wanted to try some different things out with these modules, and some of them are kind of like bad, but not bad by design. Inefficient by design, I guess. Anyway, recharge. So we need to draw from a chemical, geothermal, or solar energy. Spend 1 turn setting up, and then it's going to take a little while for us to do the process. Module 12, my favorite module. In fact, we might do that now. Not just yet, actually, but I have got a cup of coffee here waiting for me. Take 2 turns to dispense and enjoy a drink of your choice, and release 2 dice. Oh, roll 2 dice, release all locked dice showing these values. Module 13, definitely used to be something here. Module 14, defense. So it gives us a kind of, if we need to shoot something down, I guess. Star chart lets us find a different distant location. Social. Talk with the ship's computer or somebody you've made contact with. And then we describe the socializing. And then yeah, that it's just there for its own purpose. It doesn't really achieve anything. It's just there, which is kind of the whole point of this game. Medical. So we can mend a physical ailment. Reconcile. Verify the content of the ship's data. What does this do? I don't remember this one. Okay, so this is like filling in missing data. Defrag. Eliminate inefficient fragments in the ship's data banks. So you do this whole process, and then if successful, the ship now runs slightly more efficiently. And that's all that I say on there. Recall. Bring up a record from your journey. So that's to find something out from the past. Docking is landing somewhere. Exploration is going out to explore somewhere. Decrypt. Access to something protected or to translate something you do not understand. Habitat. That's our living situation. Observation is opening up the window and looking outside the ship. This was a relatively late addition, but it gives you a little prompt, a visual prompt for the situation that you're in. And finally, we've got the modules list here. So with all that in mind, our first job is to consider a goal and write that in our log. And get home is crossed out, so make that what you will. What should be our goal? I am going to embrace the solitude element of this to some extent, but I am taking suggestions from the chat for what should be our goal on this mission or expedition? While you're thinking about that, something I've just thought about. What I might do is I might gamify the chat and say, yeah, I might say that we have to use this. No, this is its own thing. This is separate. I don't want to break the fourth wall too much on it. So let's think of a goal. I'm cheating, and I'm going to cheat and have my coffee now. Okay, so find a route home, escape the Exmoor, survive the event horizon. You know what? Find a route home. I know it's crossed out there. But it's solid. It's a classic for a reason. So that is our goal. And then that's it. You're thrown into the game with no other guidance at all. So I think the first thing we want to do, where was the star charts? Star charts number 15. Find a specific place in a distant location. Now we could just start looking for home and say, where is home? But I think instead let's ask some general questions. No, you know what? I think we do want to go with this actually. So find a specific place in a distant location. So the specific place we're looking for is our home. Roll 5 dice. Lock in any pairs. So I've got 5 dice. Pairs. Ooh, that's a pair. And these are not a pair. Reroll any number of dice once again. Locking in pairs again. No pair. So those pair get locked in. If 1 die remains, your destination is that many jumps away. If more than 1 die remains, you cannot find your destination. Lock all the failing dice. So as it stands, these dice are all locked and we cannot find home. So that's not a great start. So let's go to our log. You don't have to log everything, but here we can report on a goal achieved or failed. And let's go to our log. So the star chart shows no obvious route home. I'm going to search for alternative methods. I'm cautiously optimistic. So we've written 3 lines in our log, which means we can take back 3 dice. And the general thing is having more dice means you can do more things. So we're in deep space. We don't know how far. We don't even know where home is. So let's look at our system. So roll 3 dice and lock in those that show 1 to 3. Right, there's just 1 showing 1 to 3. For each die that wasn't locked, ask a yes or no question, keeping things broad. So this is about our current system. So I'm going to ask for this system. Is this system Well, we'll start with a very, it's meant to be broad. So we're going to say, are there any planets in this system? We roll for the answer. Odd is no, even is yes. The higher the number, the higher the certainty. So 3 is like a medium no. It's like, no, it doesn't look like there's any any planets in this system. And then for this one, so there's no planets. Is there? Well, it sounds like there's. It sounds like if there's no planets, are there any other structures orbiting this star? 4. So even is yes. So yes, there are some other structures orbiting this star. So that's okay. So we could travel towards one of these structures. Navigate. Roll 2 dice. So we want to get a visual on our destination, really. So let's go to visual observation. Let's look outside the ship and see what we see. So roll 2 dice. So we're going to have 10s in red, units in green. 22. We look outside and we see square. Okay, so I guess we're seeing like I'm imagining like a big square, like almost like a superstructure, like orbiting the star. I guess to be orbiting a star, it would need to be pretty advanced. So if those get locked in, sorry. So we've got 4 dice left. Okay, so we have a visual on our destination. Let's go to navigate. So roll 2 dice. If you have a visual on your destination, lock the lower die. 1. That's beautiful. Reach your destination in a number of turns equal to the locked dice. So it's just going to be 1 turn of the timer. So that's 1 minute. And when that minute is up, we will reach our destination. So in the meantime, there's various things we can do, but one of the obvious things is we could go to the log, but I'm just going to do some processing. So release all the locked dice, and then let's do this. So lock the highest set, which is, I've got 3 1s. So we're looking for 1s. Nope. There we go. That's 8 dice. So now we can use these dice as we wish. So we've got all our dice back. How's our timer looking? Beautiful. So we are approaching this star orbiting superstructure. I think we might want to send out a probe. So we're investigating something for further details. So roll a die and lock it. 1. Probe returns after this many turns. So we're sending out a probe. We keep getting these low numbers, which is good for keeping things moving, but kind of like craving the long wait, you know. So the probe will come back in that many turns. So while we're waiting, let's go to the log and see if we can get this die back. So I found a superstructure of some sort orbiting the sun, the star. Sending a probe to find out more. That's 1 line in our log. So we unlock 1 die. Is there anything else we can do? Where's this? I know what I need to do. Take 2 turns to dispense and enjoy a drink of your choice. Now, ordinarily, we will be able to have like multiple timers going because of the way that the, you know, having little timers works. But before we go in, I am going to just spend 2 turns to dispense and enjoy a drink of my choice. While I'm enjoying my coffee, should we do a little defrag? Roll 8 dice. Lock dice showing 1 or 2. Reroll remaining dice and repeat until only 1 die remains. 1, 2, 2. Ooh. There we go, only 1 die remains. If no dice remain, the process is unsuccessful. If successful, the ship now runs slightly more efficiently. We have defragged to the ship. Beepluck has suggested that I switch my timer midstream. I know I shouldn't be getting distracted, but I'm gonna do it. Let's have a look. Can I have multiple timers going on? Ah, okay, cool. I see. Yeah. You know what? I'll keep that there, but we'll stick with our existing timer just for now, and then we'll see how we get on. So our probe is still out. We've not got any refreshing to do, and this is a situation that you do find yourself in. You find yourself in a situation where you've done your, I guess, you've done your chores, and you're waiting for the next thing to happen, and you can just wait and talk to yourself like I'm doing. Or this is when you might want to dip into some of the perhaps less appealing elements and modules in the game. So probe. So it was am I losing the plot? What did we get? We did 2. No, it was 1, wasn't it? So our probe returned after 1 minute. I'm already getting my timers mixed up, but so because the probe returned after 1 minute, that means we only get to ask 1 question, honing on something specific. So I'm going to ask the probe: is the superstructure, is it still active for its purpose? That's a 3. So it's a no. It's a most likely no. Walter Licino is asking a very pertinent question about have I completely done the defrag wrong? Yeah, defrag locks all your dice, so I need to unlock them with the process again. We're doing it. We're processing. I'm not going to be accused of shortchanging myself on these chores. There we go. So we're aiming for 4s. That's 1. I think when I was designing this, there was a point in this module where you could like fail if you didn't roll the number, and then you kind of had to start again, but it was just too painful. There we go. We're done. So the superstructure is not active for what its purpose was. Now, do we send another probe in? Do we extract? There was explore, wasn't there, as well? Exploration. Let's do it. Let's send in some kind of probe. You know what? Now that we're closer up, I'm gonna have another little go with the observation module. So let's roll 2 dice. 33. What do we see? A haze. So it's no longer in use, and there's like a haze around it. I'm guessing like I'm aware that there is no reason why there would be like a heat haze in space. But there is a heat haze around this superstructure. So that suggests to me like there's some kind of atmosphere around it. Yeah. Well, they're locked in, so I might as well use this as an opportunity to go to the log. There's a haze around the structure, suggesting a leak of some artificial atmosphere. That's one line. I'm sending in an exploration vehicle. In fact, I'm going in. Going in to see if there's any clues for how to get home. Right. Exploration. The good thing about when you've got this printed out is this module list is on the back, so you can just always flick to the back, then you know exactly where you're going. So it's a little bit tricky with PDF. Exploration is number 22. So we're going to roll 5 dice. In fact, I'm going to read the module first because I remember there's like a risk element to this. So we're going to roll. We're going to lock in our even rolls, and then we're going to choose whether to roll again or to withdraw. If you roll only odd numbers, then a catastrophe strikes. So we're trying to get the highest number that we can using only even rolls, but we don't want to end up in a position where we are rolling only odd numbers. I get it. That is an entire set of odd numbers. So a catastrophe strikes. Either you or the ship are damaged and you cannot leave until it is remedied. So I think they don't get locked in at least. No, so we've still got all our dice. So catastrophe strikes. I think maybe the fact that we're so close to the star and there's this atmosphere suggests like a full-on explosion. The structure itself, like as we land on it, something about like maybe our engines are like igniting this atmosphere and it sort of starts to catch fire and explode. This is because we didn't use the docking module, you see. We really should have used this. How do we get out? Isn't it like an escape module or something? There's like defend, isn't there? Defense. Extraction? Let's have a look. Which one's the most appropriate? Bring something into the ship. No, we don't want to do that. So the ship is burning up, but we need to repair it. So roll any number of dice. Lock 3 that form a straight or a set. If you cannot make a straight or a set, then wait a turn before re-rolling. Repeat until you have locked in 6 dice to complete the repairs. So we're going to roll our entire set of dice because we need to repair this. So we're trying to make a straight or a set of 6. Well, we haven't got a set of 6, but I think we stand a decent chance of getting a straight. So 2, 3, 4, 5. What? We don't have a 1. Oof. Okay, so now we have to wait a turn. Okay, so we're smashing away at our engine and our shields, trying to get it to work enough to allow us to get away. So they're locked in. So we're going to be re-rolling these and hoping for a 1 on our next one. There's not much we can do until then. And we don't want to lock in any more dice. And we don't want to enter the log because we want to keep these locked in because that's our straight that we're trying to make to repair the ship. So we really are just waiting now. Although I'm breaking one of the cardinal rules here because sometimes you'll feel when this happens, describe what you're actually doing on the ship. So yeah, I can describe it where, you know, we've managed to repair some parts of the engine, but it's still not quite active enough to sort of pull us away from the exploding ship, the exploding structures behind us. So we're going to try more repairs. We don't get one that we need, so it's going to start again. So we're still sort of, maybe we go out into the actual structure itself, and we're literally going out there in our sort of hazard suit and like banging on the engine trying to get it to work, and it's just not working. So we could abandon this repair altogether. Defense. Fend off hostile attackers to get to safety. Roll any number of dice and choose one to lock. If the lock dice total exceeds exactly 12, then you are victorious. If the lock dice total 13 or higher, you are released. You are at the mercy of your attackers. Oh. So that's our. If this doesn't work, we're going to have to blast our way out. So we're going to try one more chance to get our engine working. Right. One more attempt to get our engine working. We don't get a 1, so we can't repair for another minute, but we're going to give up on repair. Let's go deeper. Well, I think we're gonna go to the log, so I need to get some of these back. So this was a disaster. As soon as we docked with the structure, too hastily, to be honest, the whole thing went up. The atmosphere was just waiting for a spark. I can't get the engine to work. So I'm going to explore. So I'm going to brave the structure itself to see if I can find another way to escape. Hope this isn't the last time I see my ship. Right. Repairs. We can't go until we're repaired, but we can do other stuff. We get all these back because we've just done some logs. So we can't leave. We could probe to try and find a thing, but this is the thing, that there's often like multiple ways to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So module 6 extraction, bring something into the ship. Okay. Synthesis, that's not really for now. Broadcast, put out a distress call, we could do. Defense, fend off hostile attackers or get to safe. No, we're going to go with the explore because that's what we said we were doing in the journal. So we're going we're going deeper in there to see if we can find some like escape pod or something that will just let us get away from the structure. So roll 5 dice. Lock in evens. It's just 1. That's 6. Choose whether to roll again or withdraw. We're going to roll again, but we want to avoid getting all odd numbers. That's better. There we go. So we have 12. So if we sort of cash out on 12, there's a discovery and danger here. Either you or the ship are damaged and you'll need to extract the discovery. So I think this is telling me there's another ship here. So let's cash in. So they get locked. So there is a ship. In fact, let's log this because we're going to want these dice back. There's another ship in here. Big enough, even, to tow away my little ship. See, I'm just making sure we don't lose that ship. But yeah, there's danger in the way, and we're going to get hurt by it. So I can't get in there myself, but I'm sending in, I don't know, the probe, let's say, the drone. Sending in the drone. We need to extract it. So if we can extract this ship, we can get this drone to like pilot the big ship around to free our little ship. We get our dice back from using the log. So this is already like the first like star system, and it's fucking tense already. Bring something into the ship. Roll and lock 2 dice, giving you a 2-digit target. So black is tens and red is units. 63, that's not good. We didn't want it to be high. In fact, we just didn't want it to be a weird number. Roll all the remaining dice. Oh, this is the countdown maths round. Using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, use these dice to reach the target. See, this is like the one that's actually kind of a little bit of fun. So we need to make 63 using these dice. Now, I know there's going to be some maths genius in the chat. Please forgive me. You can reroll the dice up to 2 times. If you cannot reach the target, then the sample is lost. So we need to make 63. Now, I'm no maths genius, but 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 times 6 is 60. Plus 3 is 63. So we've made it. So which ones get locked? Just those 2. So we do it. Our drone successfully navigates the flaming corridors of the superstructure and gets to this ship, and sort of is able to dislodge our ship from this flaming wreckage. Now, I feel like we're still like not completely in the clear. So where's that defense one? No, I feel like we've gotten out of the mega dangerous situation. So where's jump? Let's get the hell out of here. We're going to get out of this system because it's a nightmare. Roll 3 dice and lock them. Total the locked dice. Reach a new system after that many turns. 6, 3, and 3. 12 turns. This is what I'm talking about. A 12-minute wait. This is what I live for. So we make the jump into hyperspace, and we are now cruising away from that horrible place. And when we get there, we'll need to recharge it. So we've got 5 dice that are locked here. Let's at least do a little bit of action in the log. No, I'm not going to do the log. I'm going to do... You know where I'm going. I'm using the beverage module. I need my ginger beer hydration. Oof. So, remember when I said this would be like a boring game? A lonely, boring game. Turns out I was wrong. But we are in hyperspace now, and we've got a little bit of a weight around us. Oh, B-Pluck has just queried whether or not I used extraction correctly. Interesting. No, so I can see why you would think that you need to use all of the dice. Like, use these dice to reach the target. But the way I see it is like, once you reach the target, then you're fine. So if you got 12 and 2 of your dice were 6 and 6, you could just say 6 add 6 and then you're at 12, so it's fine. So while we are here in hyperspace. Let's do a small log. So that's two lines in the log. The beverage, 2 turns to dispense and enjoy a drink of your choice. Let's get our drink timer up, because we can't really do anything else while we're enjoying our drink. So we roll 2 dice. Oh, that's afterwards we roll 2 dice. Okay, so we're just going to take 2 turns to enjoy my drink. I'm going to talk to myself, i.e. you, while we do that. So yeah, as you are very kindly pointing out in the chat, the rules are very fuzzy at the moment. Yeah, it's definitely an experiment, and I kind of made it and threw it out there, and I didn't want to spend too much time on it because I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. But it's yeah, B-Pluck says there's something to be said of leaving it a bit fuzzy. Now the thing is, it's with it being a solo game, like there's something to be said for making it work the way as it was intended. But also, I as you can tell from the visuals of it, I wanted to channel the idea of a sort of a user manual. One of the big inspirations was TIS 100. Is it? Am I remembering the name correctly? TIS 100 is a puzzle game based around assembly language. And if that sounds interesting to you, you should definitely check it out because it's great. But it's like, the idea is that you're programming an old computer and you're trying to solve these puzzles. But it comes with a sort of in-character manual, if you like, that looks like it was made from like an old 1970s computer. And I wanted to sort of have something that felt like the manual you would be assigned if you'd gone out on this sort of deep space mission. So we're allowed 6 more seconds of enjoying this beverage. It does not want to for some reason it doesn't want to sound the alarm for me, but that's fine. So we're still in deep space for another 7 minutes, but we can roll 2 dice from our beverage, and we can release any dice that show that value, so we can take that. So we've just got 2 dice left in the lock. We can leave those there for now because we're going to use some of our less commonly used modules. So medical. I mean, we did get a little bit beat up, didn't we, in those explosions? So I would say we've taken minor injuries. Well, a number of dice. Lock in pairs of dice that total up to 7. Each pair of dice treats 1 level of ailment. You can reroll once only. If you fail, it cannot be treated. So we've got some burns. I'm going to use like 5 dice because I want to make sure that it succeeds. So I can lock in this pair makes 7. None of these make 7, but that's fine. We needed 1 to mend our minor injury. The medical module was able to take care of my burns. Nothing too serious. So we'll take back 1 die for that line in the log. Habitat, where is that? Recap something good and something bad about your ship's living conditions. So the bad thing about our ship's living conditions, I mean, the ship did get quite beat up and the engine wasn't really working. So I'm imagining now that maybe there's some kind of like I'm imagining like the life support system is maybe not cooperating with the engine, so maybe like we're getting like the stink of jet fuel or whatever kind of like warp fuel this ship uses. It's sort of like the air is quite thick with this kind of fuel aroma. But something good about our ship is so the ship is like, it's the last bit of home that we've got, really, isn't it? So I think it's like, it reminds us of home. You know, not even necessarily our home, but like our planet. It's like the only non-alien thing out in here. It's very familiar looking. So now we're going to roll in 3 dice. Lock in any 1s and 6s. There are no 1s and 6s. So if we rolled any 1s and 6s, things would change, but they're not. We just got to enjoy a nice description of our situation. Record. Bring up a record from your journey. 9. Verify the content of the ship's data. Why not? How long have we got? 3 minutes. Let's reconcile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't do it. So we need another die back. So we're going to go to the log. We're going to say the jump is taking some time. Going to reconcile the ship's data, just as a precaution. Okay. Roll 7 dice. So these are locked. Okay, here's our dice. Lock any pairs of matching dice as long as no other rolled dice show that value. So basically we just want like pairs only. So it's no good if we get like 3s or something. So we've got a pair of 3s because there's no other 3s. We've got a pair of 4s. And this has actually gone incredibly well. So we've got 3 locked in pairs. Reroll and repeat until only 1 die remains. Well, we've got 1 die left. Fill or confirm a missing piece of data based on the remaining die's value, number 1. So what is the name of our current location? So we are between 2 systems. We need to name that terrible structure that we were at previously. Well, you know what? I think. Well, the name of the current location is actually that we're just in warp space, aren't we? So, turns out our data didn't really need reconciling. So they're all locked. So now we're going to need to do some processing. So let's get the old process module out. So it's 1s that we're looking for. I remember now, in one of the previous versions, if you didn't get any dice that matched the set you're going for, you had to wait a turn, and it was painful, because when you get to the end, yeah, it's a long wait. There we go. So we've released all of them. We can't be too far off now. 1 minute away. So what we're going to do, because we're now up to, we're an hour into the stream. I'm not going to sit here and play Space and Solitude all night, and I don't think we're going to make our way home, let's say. But we will just go out and see what we can see in this new system. And we'll do a little recharge as well, because we need to recharge after each jump. So we're nearly there. And people say that streams are boring. People say, how can you just watch this person talking or playing a game? well, they haven't experienced this. Watching somebody watch a timer go down. This might just be my new stream now, every week. Just the timer element, not even the game. Here we go. We're there. So, scan the system. What's there? Well, we can scan or we can just look straight out the window. Let's do a scan. Scan feels more appropriate. Right, roll 3 dice. And lock, oh no, that's not a roll. Lock any that show 1 to 3. There's just one showing 1 to 3. For each die that wasn't locked, ask a yes or no question, keeping things broad. So, in this system, are there any planets? No. Are there any structure? You know, I asked about structures last time. I'm going to ask the same again. Are there any structures here? Definitely not. Okay. Let's do another scan because that didn't give us very much. So we've got 3 questions we can ask here. 3 broad questions about this system. If there's no planets and there's no structures, is there like an asteroid belt? Yes, there is. Does the asteroid belt have any signs of activity? Definitely not. Are there any useful minerals in the asteroid belt? Definitely not. So I think we might have found a bit of a wasteland here. Sorry, I shouldn't have locked those in. These are still here. So there's not much to be had in this system. We're going to recharge. Spend 1 turn setting up. God, I forgot about that. So we're going to open up our solar panels. We're going to get set up. And then we're going to charge our engines. And we're going to get out of here. But we are in a different system. So the star map might be different now. Where's star map? Star charts. So we'll come back to that. Let's get our recharge going first. And then we're going to look at our star chart and see if maybe there's something there that can give us a little bit of hope that we can maybe find a way to Earth. Yeah, wormholes. Why didn't I ask? Why didn't I just say, is there a wormhole leading straight to Earth? B Pluck is saying recharge took ages for them. I'm very sorry. Roll 4 dice. Locking 1. So we need to make a straight. Look at that. You say it takes ages? This is how you do it, look. You lock 1. That makes a straight. And we're laughing. So we are fully charged. Let's look at the star chart. You know what? Let's put out a broadcast. Put a message out across your system. Wait 1 turn. Okay, fine. Forget that. We're going to do the star chart instead. Roll 5 dice. Lock in any pairs. 1 pair. So we can reroll any number once, only locking in pairs again. Oh, ho, ho. Right. 1 die remains. Our home is 3 jumps away. So let's do some logs. This place system appears to be completely empty. Just some dead asteroid belts. The deep space scanner has shown a route to Earth. Home. just 3 jumps away. Let's hope our journey runs a bit more smoothly. So that's 3. And then how can we get these 3 back? What have we not used? Social? No, we haven't got anyone to be social with. That's the main one really, isn't it? Beverage is the other one, obviously. So I've already forgotten. Like, no, we're not waiting on anything, are we? We've done our star chart. We know that Earth is 3 jumps away. Should we try a broadcast? So this might be the last thing we do. We're gonna do a broadcast. So we have to wait 1 turn. When that's done, we're gonna roll 7 dice. I don't have 7 dice, so while that's going, let's do some processing. Okay, so I think it's the ones. I'm impressed I've done this entire stream without a single David Bowie impression or Rocket Man reference. Oh, processing, come on. The ship's computer is struggling. I'm actually like, my arms are getting tired. Right, well, that's all well and good, alarm, but there you go, okay. So the broadcast is ready. Roll 7 dice. Oh, that's not a good roll. Let's actually do it properly. There we go. If you can form all the dice into interlocking lines of straights and matching sets, at least 3 dice each, then you hear a response, but it's too faint to understand. So this isn't described well, but the idea is I want you to make like a crossword, like Scrabble, I guess. So we could have, so it has to make sets or straights of at least 3. So we can't do it. So if we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2, 2, 2, that would work. But I don't think we have that set. And then we could have, oh, I'm an idiot. There we go. We can do it. So we've got straight, set, and a set. So we can do that. So that means you hear a response, but it's too faint to understand. And if we repeat the process, we can have a moment of contact. So you need to do it twice. First, just like get the bit of contact. Second time is to actually hear what they're saying. So maybe we're hearing like a signal from home, maybe. This doesn't look good. No, there's no way of doing that. These two are like unconnected. So we hear faint signals, but nothing else. All dice are locked. So let's do some processing, because you know that we love it. We're going for 5s. Fives. Fives. 5. Beautiful. So they are all processed. So the last thing I will do, we know that Earth is 3 jumps away. Let's do our jump and then we'll call it a day. So roll 3 dice, lock them, and the total is 12. So it's going to be a 12-minute jump. But I think we are going to call it a day there. Let me wrangle this camera around. Right. Hello. Nice to have you back. So that is Space and Solitude. For what it's worth, I don't normally tidy the area of this room that doesn't get shown on stream. So yeah, that's it. It is what it is. Make of it what you will. If you do decide to give it a try, I recommend locking yourself away on your own with a nice ambient space soundtrack. Make liberal use of the beverage module, and just try and use it as kind of a, I'm not going to say it's like a Zen experience, that's a really wanky thing to say, but like use it as an excuse to experience boredom and loneliness, but perhaps to weirdly enjoy them. So thank you for watching. As always, you can stay up to date with everything that's happening at bastionland.com. It is the end of the month. If you are a top tier Patreon, you will be getting your Bastion Land backstage video as soon as this finishes, because I'm going to be doing that then. If you are not yet backing me on Patreon, it is always appreciated. There is not going to be a Friday afternoon Grimlight stream this week, but there will be next week. But yeah, if you have been following Grimlight, there is a new version out today which has a lot of big changes to the system, and I look forward to testing them out. But until then, everybody, I hope you got something out of this, and until next time, stay safe.